I'd like to welcome Dean Lamb of the Juno Award-winning band Archspire. He also hosts his own YouTube channel under the same name, Dean Lamb. Welcome.
That's my name.
Yep. Although it could be easily confused with Bald Man.
Yes. Yeah, that was just an my Zoom username says bald man, and that was just some of that. I guess it's like a new AI thing that they have, and they just label you kind of what they see. So but yeah, my name is Dean Lamb. I play in the technical death metal band Archspire from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have a little bit of your time, sir.
That's
I
great. Yeah,
just,
no problem.
I mean, I just want to. Usually I would like to start this out a little slower, but I kind of want to get into this question. It's like, you won a
Hell yeah.
freaking Juno, dude.
Well, I mean, okay, so a Juno Award for anybody that's listening that is maybe in America or in some other country, it's basically the Canadian Grammy equivalent,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool. Now, it's not quite as glamorous as the Grammy. It's not quite as I don't know. It's not quite as something, but it is pretty incredible. Now, some of the bands that we've been nominated alongside Brand of Sacrifice, Spirit Box, some of the bands that have been nominated in other years, Devin Townsend Project, Despised Icon, Cryptopsy. I think Cryptopsy just won, I believe. Our really good buddies in Ken Mode. I mean, there's so many awesome bands that get nominated, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
cool to have a hard music category that really is hard music. And
Yeah.
for us to even come across the desk of the people that vote for that is pretty incredible because our music is not exactly, and I say this as a person that writes it, it's not easy to listen to upon first glance.
Yeah, it's not your
It's a lot.
average. Yeah, it's not your average listen.
No, it's a lot. And I mean, it's Ditto for Cryptopsy, Despised Icon, man, all those, I mean, we just have so many great bands here in Canada. And it's
Mm-hmm.
cool that we have a very awesome platform that actually recognizes that stuff and then and then rewards it with some promotion and some bragging rights and stuff like that. But honestly, you know we got nominated in 2017 as well, and we went to the dinner there. We went to the celebration. It's the non-televised night because, well, I mean, hey, they celebrate hard music, but they're not going to put it on TV.
Right.
They'll save the bigger artists for that. But we were at our table, and I remember somebody coming up to us. I don't remember if they were nominated in the same group as us or whatever. And this is after we found out that we didn't win the first year. And so they said, and they also did not win. And they said, you guys bummed out. And he looked at me, he says, are you bummed out? And I looked down and I'm eating duck. I'm like,
Hell
no,
no.
I'm not bummed out. I don't care.
Right.
It's been pretty, so yeah, I mean, it's great. We've had great support from Karis, which is the organization that puts it together as well. They also do Factor Canada, which has helped us out. So yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. We probably wouldn't be able to do really all the stuff that we've been doing without them.
Yeah. Well, I also found out through like Spirit Box and stuff that they have grants and stuff that they give artists to kind of start out. And I was like, why do we not have that here in America?
Well, to say that they give grants to people to bands to start out might be a bit misleading. We didn't get grants until I think that we got our first grant in 2016 or maybe 2015, and we've been a band since 2009. And what they do is they
Oh,
look at bands that have a decent amount or some sort of track record of album sales. And
okay.
the more album sales that you have, the more likely you are actually to be able to get a tour support grant, which helps you cover a percentage of your touring cost. So you
Wow.
send them all your costs, and then you send them your projected income, and then they give you a percentage of that up to a cap of a certain amount per year. And you can apply for how many times per year you need until you hit that cap per year. And it's based on like a level system. So there's three levels to it. First level is lower, second level is a little bit higher, third level is a lot higher. So we've been with Factor Canada, I think since 2015, I believe, and yeah, that kind of stuff has made it pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't say that we wouldn't have been able to do any of this stuff without it, but man, it made it a lot easier. As a
Right.
Canadian band, and we're in Vancouver, we're on the West Coast, we're right near the states. We can go down. I can hit the U.S. border in less than an hour.
Right.
Um, but you need a lot of expensive paperwork to do that as a band.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that kind of barrier to entry is, well, I mean, it's stressful to even do, and not to mention expensive. And so having a little bit extra help is pretty important and awesome. And so yeah, it's been great.
Oh, that's cool to know because I had no idea you guys even used it prior. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's been all right. It's been all right.
Yeah, I just I should probably look more into that. That's pretty cool. But
Well, there must be something. I know that Factor Canada is it's not a government organization itself. It's the government contracts out Factor Canada to do the grant system, and so there's also provincial grants as well, which we've worked with them a little bit. BC Music and Arts Council, and because we're in the province of British Columbia here on the West Coast, and yeah, they're a smaller organization, smaller funding, but they've also helped us out as well, which is to say we are very lucky. Yeah.
that's awesome. So you are promoting your brand new North American tour, the Everything's Fucked tour. I love the name.
Yes, hell yeah. We've been doing the Tech Trek tour since I actually don't know when we started doing that, but we've been doing that. It's basically our own branded headliner tour, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing it for a long time. And we decided, you know what, let's change it up a little bit and try a new tour name, something that's just like stupid sounding. We initially had this idea that it was going to be a tour that's branded like there's wreckage of helicopters on stage and everything's on fire and stuff. And we're like, yeah, maybe we can't A, afford that, or B, safely do that kind of stuff. So we kind of scaled down the idea, but we kept the name because we thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really does just reflect whatever you want it to mean. It basically means, hey, if you don't like this, if you think society is like this, if you think whatever, it doesn't have to be political. It can be if you, it's whatever you want it to be. It's basically just like everything's fucked. Come party with us and have a fun time.
Right. And you're
Yeah.
taking three support bands with you: Carcosa, Alluvial, and what was the third one?
Aborted. Yeah.
Aborted. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So opening the show is Alluvial. My buddy Wes Hauk, who is like an incredible guitar player, and
Oh
they
yeah.
write just like rad killer music. Carcosa from Vancouver, BC, as well. My buddy Andrew, who has a YouTube channel here, Andrew Bana.
Mm-hmm.
He is great guitar player, writes cool music. They're fun guys. And
Right.
they know how to promote stuff, and I just like working with them. And then Aborted direct support, which means they play right before us, and they're a band that if you look back and you Google way back, you can see Archspire, our first European tour ever, which I think was in 2011. We supported Decapitated, Aborted, Flesh God Apocalypse. And we opened the show and we fluked into this tour and it was crazy. And that was right when we met Sven and Ken. And then the other guys have since kind of changed hands and member changes. But yeah, Ken and Sven are still in the band, and man, they were just really cool to hang out with. And we're like, damn, this band is teaching us a lot, and we've always wanted to tour with them again. We did another run in the U.S. with them. We did some Canadian dates many years ago, but we're putting together a headliner tour. And we're like, man, we want to tour with them again. They're killer, they're brutal, so perfect kind of fit.
Yeah. I love the your cross promotion you're doing for this tour. I've seen you and Andrew Bana, swapping videos. You kind of taking over his YouTube channel. It's classic. And then you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
He invited me over to his house, and when I say house, I mean it's a house. And I
Right.
come from a place in Canada where, well, the rent is too damn high. Let's be honest.
Right.
I can't imagine what a house feels like to walk into one. I go, what is a house? I'm like, I know what these tiny boxes of condos are, or apartments. I get that, but I like. So he actually owns a house, and I'm like, hey, dude. So it was really nice of him to invite me over there, and then we just sat in his basement, just film stuff. And he bought me A&W for lunch. And A&W, if you don't know, is crap in America, but it's great in Canada. It's about the best fast food that you can get here in Canada. But oh my, have you ever had A&W in the
Yeah.
U.S.?
I love A&W.
Dude,
It's
you like
not
A&W?
not the food. The root beer. I love the root beer part of it.
Okay, the
See,
root
we
beer.
have like
Yes.
A&W combined with like Long John Silver's, which I don't even know if that's still around anymore.
Right.
Do you have those in Canada?
Long John Silver's. This
The
is
fast food
a friend of
seafood place.
yours, or oh, yeah, it's a seafood place, right? Yeah, images of like old shrimp came to mind when you said that.
Right.
No, I don't think that we do have that, or maybe we do, and I don't know. I've never been there, but A&W in Canada, let's. I mean, if you're Canadian, you know they make great burgers, and so Andrew bought me a nice little lunch, and we ate in his living room, and it was fantastic. But yeah, I
Okay.
love the guy. I love working with him.
Okay. Not to stay on this subject, but are you saying that
No, no.
the quality of food is better in Canada, or that's the best you have in Canada?
Okay, so think about a restaurant. Think about a crappy restaurant, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, let's call it B and H. I don't know, crappy restaurant. B and I don't know why I'm using metaphors. We'll just talk about it. It
Right.
sucks in the U.S. It's great in Canada. It's like a totally different restaurant. They have different mascots. They have different artwork. They have different menu items. It's
Okay.
good in Canada, and let's be honest, it's kind of crappy. If
Yeah.
you go to fast food in the U.S., you're going to. I mean, if you
So
want to
many
try and
ingredients.
eat healthy, you want to go to eat Chipotle. I don't know if that's eating healthy, but whatever.
Right.
If you want to go
Right.
eat like an awesome greasy burger, I mean, you're gonna go to In and Out, dude. I mean, you're gonna go to In and Out if you have it nearby. I don't know where you go. Where do you go for like an awesome burger?
A local place, to be honest. But if it's like a fast food place, a awesome
Yes,
burger, Sonic.
Sonic. Okay, cool. Out of left field, Sonic. I don't think I've ever had Sonic, but you're not a Carl's Jr. guy.
No, not really.
Okay, not a Carl's Jr. guy, not a Wendy's guy.
Wendy's, yeah, Wendy's is good.
What about Burger King?
Mm, when I'm in the mood.
When you're in the mood.
When I'm
When
in
you're
the
feeling
mood.
delicate, maybe you
Yeah,
would
yeah.
go for a little Burger King. Burger King. I said Burger King.
It's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, Burger Ding. But yeah, I mean, so
Burger.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Andrew owns an A&W franchise, and no, he doesn't. That would be great though. I would go over to his house a lot more. What
I was
was the
about to say it
question?
would explain his house. We were talking about the quality of food, but we don't have to go on that anymore. It's to put it in short term here. You guys have better quality ingredients to make actual good food. Where we're led by the almighty dollar, so they cut corners in which way they can. So, anyways,
I just to finish off, I will never disparage the US publicly because I used to be kind of like Canada's, I mean, I had a little, 10, 15 years ago. Canada's a little bit better. I like it. Honestly, I go to the US now. I'm like, the US rips, dude. The
oh,
US is
yeah,
sick.
I'm not
It's
dogging it at
awesome.
all.
Yeah.
We have our problems, but I fucking love this country.
It rips. I love that country.
So, you did the cross promotion with Andrew. You did the 4 levels of death metal with your wife, Claine,
Yeah.
for the aborted stuff, right? That was the latest one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was sick.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
so let's get into this. Let's start. When did you start playing music?
I remember I had a buddy that had a electric guitar. He maybe had one or two electric guitars when I was maybe 13, maybe 12. I think I have a little bit of a late birthday. I'm born in November, 1987. So I remember I went over to his house and I was a really big fan of Tool at the time. It was like my favorite band. And I picked up a guitar of his and I remember playing like one note and then being like, oh, it's kind of like that Tool riff a little bit because it was the only frame of reference I really had. And I was like, oh, I wish it would go lower though, but it's not low enough. And I realized now it was like my brain was trying to figure out drop D tuning. You know what I mean? It's like because they play everything in drop D. And
Right.
I realized that there was a pitch hierarchy and then I needed it to go low. So there was already something in my brain that liked solving the puzzle of music, even though I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, what any of the things on the guitar were, how to play properly. I just knew there's a pitch here and I want it to go down and it's not enough. And so, yeah, I mean, I was like almost a teenager, basically, let's call it 13 when I first started playing guitar. And so, yeah, I mean, almost, yeah, getting close to 25 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that.
Wow. So you picked that up. How long did it take you before you started playing with a band?
Well, I I played guitar by myself. And when I say by myself, I meant every 10 minutes, I would call my mom into the room and be like, okay, check this out, check this out. And then I would play something crappy. And then she would listen and be like, cool, yeah, I walk away. And they'd be like, wait, come back, check this out. And I play. So I would
Mhm.
sit there and I desperately wanted people to watch what I was doing and
Mm.
try to hear it through their perception, their perspective.
Right.
I think that's a great way to learn about what kind of musician you are or learn about what kind of author you are or whatever. Take your frame of reference and flip it, show it to somebody and watch their face as, and don't be a creep about it, but
Yeah.
well, maybe you can be a creep about it. I don't know. Try to understand that it's very important to switch your frame of reference and hear it from somebody else's ears, somebody else's perspective. And I
Right.
find that playing in front of people is essentially the best way to do that. So
Correct.
um when I started playing, I sucked, obviously, just like everybody else. I started playing for about a year. I was playing Metallica with my buddy and stuff like that. And then Christmas, when I was, I think maybe 14, my mom got me, I think, 2 months worth of guitar lessons with a guitar teacher in the town that I grew up in, which is about an hour away from Vancouver. And he was a wacky dude. I realize now he was a total stoner. I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't really get it. I was a sheltered child. I didn't understand what weed was.
Yeah.
No,
Same.
yeah, I was like, oh, he's just weird. It's like, oh no, he's high all the time. So he was a very religious dude. He was all about worship music and stuff, but he was also like laid back, kind of hippie kind of guy. So it was an interesting kind of mix. But what was great about his lessons, now he didn't know all the theory, he didn't have all the technique. From my perspective, he was a crazy, insane guitar player who knew everything. But I look back, I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. He was teaching me what I needed to know at the time. He taught me chords, he taught me scales, he taught me all this kind of stuff. Did he teach me modes? No. Did he teach me superimposition? Did he teach me modal change it? No. Okay. But he taught me what I needed to know. The most important thing was how to play with a drummer, how to play
Mhm.
with a band. So he would bring in other students. We do these 3 hour long lessons every Saturday. I'd go in at 10 a.m. I would play guitar, he would show me a song, Smoke on the Water, All Along the Watchtower, some worship song, whatever, something easy to get your hand around. And we play for 10 minutes. And I'm like, my hand is like throbbing. I'm like, God, those bar chords suck. So he would go, okay, critique my whatever, give me the scale to solo, and I would play lead. He would play guitar and vocals. Then another student would come in, and now he would jump on drums. So my guitar teacher is on drums. The other student's on guitar. I'm on lead guitar now. So now I'm taking over for lead guitar. Another student comes in. I switch to bass. It's like you get to experience all of the perspectives of what the lesson is, with playing with different people, and it's like, man, that helped me so much. I took lessons with him for about a year and a half, and I learned so much that it's hard to really even impart that knowledge to somebody else without showing them or doing that exact thing. You
Right.
really just need to experience what it's like. So at the time, too, I was playing with my buddy Sean, who plays in this band Kardashev now. He's the drummer of that band. Him and
Oh,
I grew up
nice.
together, Sean Lang. Great drummer, great drummer. Um, when I was 14, I brought my amp over, my big fridge of an amplifier, and he and I started playing some Iron Maiden. And I sucked. I remember the first jam. I brought my guitar amp over, started playing, and I said after the song that we were, Aces High or whatever, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get better. I promise I'm gonna get better. And he's like, no, 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 don't worry about it. It's really, really fun. And we just kept doing that, kept doing that. And eventually him and I started growing together as musicians and really developing each other in terms of, and he was always better than me, but in terms of what kind of music we liked. We branched out. We liked, we started discovering more heavy kind of stuff. We both loved Dream Theater at the time, so we started finding Opeth. We started finding some really proggy stuff like Virgil and Addy, like Planet X, like all these kind of between the buried and me, all these proggy weird bands, and that really developed my style. And then eventually, him and I started writing some music together, and that was really the first time I played a show where I was playing original stuff, not just covers, not just jamming with somebody, actual original songs. And I think I was 18 when I played my first show at a community center in the hometown that I'm from, and it was great. It was funny. There's actually YouTube. There's footage of it on YouTube. But I played bass at the time, not even guitar. So
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the band was called 7 Year Storm. And eventually we did end up also recording a full, like another album, but we had the 3 song EP or something that we recorded in our guitar player's basement. And I mean, I don't know, just so many cool nights of spending time just experimenting with sounds in someone's basement with a
Hmm.
guitar. No judgment. No one's there to be like, you suck. Nothing. No one's pushing, no advertising, no promotion, no marketing, no nothing. Just, hey, what sounds cool? Does that sound cool? I don't know. Hey, do you have anywhere to be? It's like, no, not really. I'll just sleep over here tonight. It's
Yeah.
so much freedom and just no responsibilities and just trying to get better. Everybody's just trying to get better. It was a great environment.
Yeah, I miss that a lot. That's the one thing I do miss
Yeah.
having a band and even just having a melting pot of ideas now instead of, just throwing my own ideas just to get them right back. It's like, oh, okay. Now I'm glad now that I have people where it's like, we make music and stuff together, but not like in a band form. We just kind of send stuff back and forth. So I have an outer, opinion on things now. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, your perspective changes, and the older you get, the you have different values and different things you want to do with the music. And at first, you
oh
just
yeah,
wanted to play as fast as you can, and then you want to write a cool song, and then you want to, write something that's listenable and that a lot of people will enjoy it. Like just your priorities change so much. And so yeah, it's interesting to kind of see that across my musical career and go back and listen to music that I wrote when I was a teenager. It's like, okay, I kind of get what I was going for there. Like I get it. I see something. I see a hint of something, but I didn't know where I was going with it. But it's cool to see the progression.
yeah. You play so fast now too. Like you guys have a song that's like in the 400 BPMs on this last album, right?
Yeah, the last song on the most recent album, Bleed the Future, which is fucking old now. It's like, I mean, getting to 3 years old.
You recorded
Um,
that in 2019, right? Or you tried to, right?
2020, we recorded it right yeah, kind of at the height of the pandemic, honestly. We flew down to Denver, Colorado to go record with Dave Otero, who is our, producer of the last 2 albums now. And he just does such an awesome job. But I remember flying down and he messaged us as we were getting on the plane. He says, "Hey, I have COVID."
Yeah.
And it was the time too where we didn't know what it was like, what it was about. Nobody was vaccinated. Nobody had anything. We're like, oh my God, we're the whole studio, we're going to have to wear masks. And stuff. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was
You
fine.
have it
We
all
all we're all fine.
documented and it's awesome.
Yeah, we were gonna have a videographer fly down. We couldn't do that because of the pandemic, because of extra
Yeah.
stuff. But man, we had a great time recording that album. We just, and when I say great time, I'm totally lying. It was actually hell. We call it music prison. That place is a nightmare to be in, and not for anything that Dave Otero does specifically. It's just if anybody's ever done a retreat style recording session, all you do is the album. That's it. You play
Right.
video games and you go, fuck, I shouldn't be playing video games. I should be working on my guitar solo for recording tomorrow. So you do that. And that's every single day. And you don't record on the weekends. So on the weekends, you work on your guitar parts. And you do it for about 6 weeks. We're going to go back into the studio with him at some point, and he wants to do 9 weeks next time. And yeah, that's a lot.
Goodness.
Yeah. But it's really valuable though. It's like, in my opinion, the only real way to record.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes all the distractions away in a sense to get the job done, and you're really, I mean, you're making the most value of your money there.
It's correct. Yeah. And I mean, with the way that Dave has it set up too, is there's an Airbnb um, suite behind his studio. It's attached.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
smart.
studio, his house, Airbnb. So you walk 30 seconds out the door to the studio. And that's how you go to work that day. And it's like, you know, damn, you can't get away from it, dude. It's all consuming. You go for lunch, you walk back to the suite and you go, hey, I'll make a sandwich, and then go right back in. It's like, but
Yeah.
honestly, it gets the best product, because then, you have, if Ollie, our vocalist, is working on something, he's in the studio in the morning trying to work on this lyric stuff. Fuck, I can't get this. This lyric just doesn't fit. He's like, take a lunch break, go back, rewrite the part, come back after lunch, or re-record it. And like just continuing to be in it. I always say that the best way to learn guitar, and I would love to practice what I preach, but sometimes I don't do this because it is kind of tough. But riding the waves of frustration, I tell all my students that too. If you have frustration, you can get to the point where you want to stop doing the thing,
Hmm.
but you need to keep doing the thing. And you don't want to have diminishing returns. There is a finite amount that you can do that. But when you get frustrated, your first inclination is to stop doing it, put the guitar down, put your mic away, whatever it is, and go do something else. And I find that that's oftentimes not the most advantageous thing to do. What you should do is play something that you like at that point. Play something that makes you feel good. Play something that makes you feel confident. And then after a couple of minutes, come back. But don't put the instrument away because that means you have essentially let the frustration win. It's like, oh,
Right.
that's a rough one to swallow. So
Yeah. So when you guys started with Archspire, you guys were not called Archspire when you started out, were you?
that's true. Yeah, we were called defenestrated, which defenestrated means to be death by being thrown out a window, which is a song. Defenestration, I think, is a song by Cryptopsy.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful.
Yep.
Maybe not the best band name.
Yeah. I think we've all
Yeah.
been in that situation a little bit. I think one of
Yes.
my first bands that we had, the name was Moira. Like, I don't know how that stuck, but it ended up sticking. And like, it took everybody, we had to correct everybody who was saying it because everybody said Mariah. No, Moira. It's whatever.
Moira. Is
Moira.
this what was the
Meaning behind it,
origin of
I
the
have
name?
no idea. It was just one of
Okay.
those weird things they came up with. I was the drummer in the band, so I really didn't care. I was just like, hey,
Right.
let's put something together. We ended up changing it to Arium, I think is what we called it. Like Planet
Moira
Arium.
to Arium. Planet Arium.
Yeah,
I got you.
exactly. That's where that
Very
came
good.
from.
Very
But
that's great. That's great.
so when you guys changed the name, or getting, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sorry, I can do this.
Sure. I
When
was
you
born in
started the band,
1987 in a cold evening. No, I'm just kidding.
when you got together, when did you start really turning it into a serious project? Was it from the moment you
uh
guys started, or?
we wanted to okay, so I joined the band. I've told this story a bunch of times, so I'm gonna say it again. I went to go try out because I found this Craigslist ad that said looking for, and it said, I tried to find it recently, I couldn't find it, but it was Craigslist ad looking for extreme wizard guitar player, tech death, blah, blah, blah. Looking for wizard lead guitar player. And I said, whoa, this ad is wild. This ad is bonkers. Like, what's going on here? So I go to Vancouver. I was living a little bit further away at the time. I go in there, drive about an hour, and I watch these guys jam and I show them what I can play. And I said, I go in there with this attitude that I'm like, I'm going to get this. Because I was looking for a band at the time. My previous band, we had broken up because I wanted to go more technical, more fast, more aggressive. And I had all these riffs written as well. So I came into this jam spot and I started playing and they're like, okay, cool, yeah. And so I was like, can you guys show me what kind of music you wrote? And they had a few songs. It was just the drummer and the bass player and the vocalist. And they started playing and I said, oh, I suck. Oh, I suck. I had never been around musicians like that. I was always kind of like among the better guitar players, I thought, of my kind of area, people that I jam with.
Yeah.
And nope, not the case now. So I go, oh my God, oh, I suck. And so I said, I really want to be in this band. And they said, okay, well, can you sweep pick? And I was like, yeah, I guess I can. I started trying to, whatever. And they said, okay, we like your attitude, we like everything, and you're a good guitar player, but sweeping is like the number one thing you're gonna have to do. So you got to go learn how to do that. So come back in a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And I said, okay. And I drove home. All I did for the next week or two is just sweep. That's all. I just worked on only sweeping. I'm like, I need to get good at this. I need to learn how to do this. And I came back after a week or two and I showed them what I learned. And they're like, how did you like, are you like a different guitar player? I'm like, no, you guys told me to learn this. So that's what I did. Like so I would say from the moment that I met the other guys in the band at the time, it was the most serious I have ever been about music and it has never changed. It's like
Nice.
it's never been it's never been less. My wife would probably not like me saying this, but I think she would probably understand. It's never been less than the most important thing in my life
Yeah.
since I joined the band.
Yeah, she would agree.
Uh, I think that she would agree. I think she would understand. I
Right.
love my wife very much, obviously, whatever her name is. But yeah, if for all of us, our goal is to write the most fast, technical, brutal, but listenable music that we can possibly write,
Mhm.
inspired by bands like Origin, Flesh God Apocalypse, Cryptopsy, Necrophagist, The Faceless. bands that we all loved at the time when we started,
Yeah.
and and we want every aspect of the band to be as fast and rapid fire and as crazy as possible while still retaining listenability. And we have never changed that. I doubt that we ever will change that. We will never add melodic vocals. We will never add extra instrumentation like trombones or something like that. We'll never. We are a technical death metal band that tries to play as fast as we can, and we have. I have tiny little hands, so it really is. There really is like a pretty a low speed ceiling there. But yeah, it's been our main focus in our lives ever since any of us have been in it. So that has never changed.
That just kind of makes your band, the whole journey of the band just kind of that much more that you guys set out to, kill it basically.
Well, we also started touring almost immediately. I joined the band. We needed another guitar player. So within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was already trying to audition band members. I hadn't even learned all the songs yet. And I was like, we need to find another guitar player. I need to be in like, I mean, I was all in. I moved to Vancouver less than a year later. I moved in with our drummer Spencer. I started working with our drummer Spencer. I started hanging out with him every single day and started jamming. Like he was like I saw him every single day, all day for
Wow.
years, many many years. Um, Now I can't stand him, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, it really is just when you're playing that kind of music, you just need to be. It needs to all encompass everything so that you can really push. It's like you have a boulder, you're trying to push up a hill.
Right.
It's like that boulder is going to roll back if you don't keep pushing. Like that is guaranteed. You need to keep pushing it up the hill. And it's like, yes, it takes time. It takes time out of my personal day, all of our personal days, all of our spare time. It takes time out of that. But when you look back at the fact that we went across Canada, we did a cross Canadian tour within, I think, a year of us being a band together. So we did a full headliner across Canada within a year. Canada's a pretty big country.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's seen the map. It's pretty big.
Right.
We lost a lot of money, but we didn't give a shit. We're like, well, yeah, well, that's what you do. So that's fine.
All right.
I'm
Well,
broke, but
I kind of
that's
want
it.
to examine that a little bit because one of my questions that was coming up was like, what was the first tour like? And I would imagine, just throwing it out there, y'all just shoved everything into like a van, probably not even a trailer, right?
Yeah, yeah, we had a van. We called it Boner Storm. It was an old 1993 GMC Rally SDX. That's the model number, and it was a. I think it was a 15 passenger. It may have been a 12 passenger, but I think it was a 15 passenger. We took out two of the bench seats in the back, and we went across Canada. No trailer. We drove that van a lot. We did many tours with that van. But the floor would get really hot when you drove anywhere. So
Right.
like I don't know what was going on the drive shaft in the middle. It just like radiated burning heat up from the floor. So you would have two seats in front. People would sleep there. One bench seat, empty space in the middle. Two people would sleep there, and then a bench seat, maybe another bench seat behind it, and then all of our gear behind that stuffed as absolutely tightly as we could.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, going across Canada, we were driving through Alberta, and our muffler exhaust assembly just fell off, so we just left it on the side of the road. Like,
It's probably why your
we
floor
are,
was warm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we can go back and examine all the things that we
Right.
did wrong, but
2020,
yeah,
right?
yeah, sure, yeah. Um, what we probably should have had would be a carbon monoxide detector inside that van because I'm
Oh,
sure that we all
yeah.
got carbon monoxide poisoning. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was like you do that because yeah, we're gonna go play Montreal, we're gonna go play Toronto, we're gonna go. We had done a BC Alberta, British Columbia and Alberta, the two provinces, Western Canada here, um, about 6 months earlier, and we're like, hey, that was really fun. We need to book a full one right away, and yeah, it was good. We met a lot of people, and what was great about that tour, that first cross Canadian tour, we lost a lot of money. That's not the great thing, but we did lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
We played a show in Toronto, and I've got covered this in a video I did in the last few months. We played a show in Toronto and this was 2011, maybe 2010, the promoter put up a website that had like all these download links for all the bands playing. So it was this night that we were headlining for some reason. I don't know. And it was a pretty well attended show, actually, which is surprising because nobody knew who the fuck we were.
Yeah.
And there was download links for all the bands, and our download link hit the expiry limit. It hit 250 downloads or whatever. It hit it like really quickly, and we're like, hey, whoa, what, okay, why would anybody want to listen to us? That's pretty cool. But one of the people that downloaded that was a guy named Gordon Conrad, who just started working at Season Mist Records. He was running Relapse, or he was high up at Relapse Records for a long time, and he had just moved over to Season of Mist like 2 weeks earlier. So he downloads this band's song, and he goes, "Holy shit, I like this band!" And this Gordon's all into shred. I know the guy quite well now, but he's into shred music. He's into Yngwie Malmsteen. He loves fast music, right? Um, and so he says, "Holy shit, this band is, I really like them." And then he forwarded that to the president of the label, and he said, my first thing I want to do, the first thing I want to do in this company is sign this band. And that's how we met him. So like, it was very lucky that he downloaded that. Why was he on some random website downloading bands' music? I have no idea. Maybe that's something he does in his spare time. Maybe that's how I don't know. Maybe that's what he does behind closed doors when he's all alone and feeling delicate. I have no idea. But that happened. And a lot of our career has been hard work. A lot of our career has been dedication and, being decently proficient in our instruments. A lot of it's just been luck. We just lucked out. We were just there.
Right.
And, we put ourselves out there enough that it just kind of happened. And when I say it kind of happened, it's like, what happened? I'm in a middling successful metal band. You know what I mean? It's like, well, there's a lot of room to go up and there's a lot of room to go down. We're
Right.
probably somewhere in the middle. I can pay my rent with death metal, which is extremely fortunate. Is that all
Extremely
my doing?
rare.
Yeah, it's very, very rare. Is that all my doing? No. What a lot of it is right place, right time,
Yeah.
um, finding the right people to work with, and really like never feeling too defeated. When you find those defeating moments, you go, fuck it, we're just going to do it ourselves. You don't get the tour offer that you really wanted to. We're just going to do our own fucking tour. And sure, a tenth of the people will show up, but at least we'll have done something. And then you do it again, you do it again, you do it again, again. All of a sudden, you're like, hey, we're doing pretty good actually with these tours that we did. And then we get some offers to go do the tours that 5, 6 years ago we would have wanted to do. And now we're like, nah, I don't know. That's actually not worth our time now. So you really build the demand for yourself, and it kind of works out. It's easier said than done. I mean, it's many, many, many thousands of hours of just toiling away, but I
Right.
love it. So
Well, even with that huge loss of money on that first tour and everything, and the shitty conditions of the van, I'm sure you still look back on that memory of doing that, and it's pretty high up on your, how you got there and things.
yeah, yeah, it's quite surreal to even think that we did that, honestly. And I go, what audacity we had to do that. Like,
That's what it takes, though.
like, and then we did it again a year and a half later, whatever, 2012, I think we did another cross Canada tour. And whenever I talk to bands in Vancouver or the area that are Canadian, they come in, they say, should we go to the States? Should we tour through the States? I say, well, no, you should build your home market, build Canada. I mean, Canadians love Canadian bands. They feel a sense of pride and kinship to Canadians trying to do this. Like we go tour Quebec and we meet people that we played in front of them when there was only 5 people in the room, many like over a decade ago, and
Yeah.
like people develop that, and it's like, man, that's stuff that you cannot buy. Like that's the kind of marketing and the kind of like brand recognition where it's like, damn, these people really dedicated a lot to see us succeed, so much so that they come to every single show. They drive many, many hours. And it's like, had we not played that tiny venue, once, they might not have known about us, might not have told their friends tell their friends, their friends tell their friends. It really builds and builds and builds. But
Right.
yeah, that's kind of what I say to most bands around here. They say, well, should I go to their tour of the states? I go, dude, I mean, it's a lot of money to start, and it's a very saturated market.
Hmm.
Canada's cities that are big in population are very few and far between. You're going to eat shit, but at least you'll be doing something. And it's your home country. I mean, I think there's something to be said about it.
Right. Just getting yourself out there is more than half the battle.
Yeah, just going to do it. You know what I mean? And everybody has jobs, everybody's got responsibilities. For us as a band, jobs always came second. If
Yeah.
we, and it's so fortunate and so lucky for us to be able to have done that. Nobody in the band has kids. Nobody in the band wants kids, as far as I know. A few of us are now married, but I mean, we have partners that respect the business that side of things.
Yeah.
They understand kind of how it is. And we've always been like, oh, we can't do that tour because you have a job. Quit your job. And they goes, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll quit my job. I was like, find someone to get back. Like that's just,
Yeah.
it's
It's
very
easy to
lucky to have
replace
had
the
that.
job.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially in Vancouver, you have, at the time, our vocalist Ollie was working in kitchen, so he would just go find another kitchen to work at. I was doing
Right.
construction, I just go find another construction job. Um, Eventually, I started teaching guitar, and it's like, well, I'll find a substitute teacher while I'm gone. Like, you kind of find your way around it, um, and yeah, it does take a specific kind of person to even want to do that, though, because
Oh, yeah.
you know, a lot of people like stability and paychecks every 2 weeks, but
It's
you don't get that
nice.
here. Yeah.
It's definitely nice. It's hard to not
Yeah.
expect, how you're going to pay for your next meals or, getting gas money somewhere.
Yes.
My problem back in the day
Yes.
was trying to figure out how I was going to pay for my cigarette habit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm sure that was very stressful because the more you stress out about it, the more you want
The
a
more you
cigarette.
want, yeah, exactly, exactly. So how is Archspire handling the success of the band? I know that you guys have been working at it a long time, and it didn't just come out of nowhere, and you guys really had to earn it. So I'm assuming that you guys are handling it a lot better, having it like within the past, 5 6 years.
Handling it in what way you're talking about? Like emotionally, you're talking about musically,
I
like
guess
how
more
so?
more so in like the lifestyle of the band, like how you're doing business with the band, and like is it becoming more of a pressured instance now that you're getting a lot of recognition, and you're seeing a lot of success and anticipation for your next album coming up?
Hmm.
Is it making it
Um,
harder for the band, or is it just staying the same and you guys are just kind of marching along?
there's like the most frustrating thing is trying not to be derivative of yourself. So what we like to do is try to write music that's similar enough, but changes in a certain way or has not necessarily a new element, but at least a twist on something that we've been doing.
Yeah.
That's hard to kind of keep doing when you look back and compare yourself against things that you've already done. Um, when it talks about like business stuff, like uh, I don't know. I mean, we still all decide things as with a unanimous vote.
Hmm.
So if everybody wants to do something and one person doesn't want to do it, then we don't do it. As long as they're like emphatic enough and they're like, "Hey, no, I really don't want to do that. That doesn't seem like a good idea." Then we go, "Okay, we're not going to do it." Same thing the other way around. If nobody wants to do something and one person wants to do it or whatever, that one person really needs to wake up and you're like, hey, read the room. We're not going to do that thing. Like it's got to be unanimous. There's no voting in terms of like a democratic kind of vote. It's just if it's an important enough issue, if it's something small, who cares? Within reason. But if it's something big like a tour or studio or what songs to play on tour or whatever, we all have to be 100% on board. I mean, it comes down to our riff writing as well. If we have a riff, everybody has to like it. Our drummer has to like my guitar solo. Our vocalist has to like every bass line. And sometimes you just don't care about it. You go, I don't care about the bass line, whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Well, that's your vote. You like it enough to not dislike it. You don't dislike it,
Yeah.
therefore, all good. Um, but if Ollie has a problem with one of my guitar solo notes, I'm going to be rewriting that note. And that's how we kind of treat all business stuff. Everybody's got to be on board. Otherwise, no one's on board. So,
I think that's a really good way to carry it.
Yeah, it gets you into trouble sometimes because it's really frustrating. It would be easier to just vote
Yeah.
because then you would go, hey, 3 against 2, all good. You want
Yeah.
us to not do this, but it looks like we're doing it. But you can't force somebody to do something that they don't want to do and have them and expect them to be happy with your next decision or the next thing. It really just breeds discontent and
Yeah.
resentment.
Yeah.
So, if I'm playing a riff on stage every night, and from day one I fucking hated this riff, but 3 out of 2 people in the band like the riff a lot, so I gotta play it. Man, I'm not gonna be very happy. I'm gonna be like, this riff sucks. Like, I really don't like it.
Yeah.
So, in the spirit of that, that's how we also treat business stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, you have content creation for your YouTube channel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as somebody on the outside looking in, I think you doing the YouTube channel greatly helps not only yourself, but it draws and funnels people toward your band.
Oh,
And
my band, the technical death metal band Archspire from Vancouver, BC, Canada.
that's the one.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody said, "Man, you are just ridiculous with self promotion." I'm like, me, the guitar player from the technical death metal band Archspire from Vancouver, BC, Canada. I am. Yeah, I would say that doing YouTube stuff is just another stream to get people into the music. I
Mhm.
think it's helped our band. I love seeing comments of people saying, I didn't even know you were in that band. I'd never heard of them. I didn't know you were in a band. I loved your YouTube videos for a year. I decided to finally check out your band, and holy shit, I'm going to come to your show. That stuff is like, yes, it's
Yeah.
working, you
Yeah.
know? And so, yeah, and not to mention, I love video creation, and whether that's editing, filming, conceptualizing shots, whatever. I love that. If I'm honest, just as much as I love music. It's like not even really my second passion. It's like, no, it's the same. It's so enjoyable to me. It's so fulfilling. It's that same sort of delayed gratification where you put in time, put in time, put in time, and you slowly chip away at something. And the more you chip away, the more you can see what it's going to be. It's like unwrapping a gift, and you're like, man, I just can't wait to see what this is going to be. And then you unwrap it fully, and you're like, man, I fucking made this thing. It's crazy. It was nothing, and now it's this. And that's
Right.
what I love about writing music and making videos. And I say that as if I'm doing anything important. I play music, and I fucking make dumb YouTube videos with my wife. I'm not doing anything groundbreaking, but it's very fulfilling to me. And I like it when people enjoy consuming the content that I make. And I also love it when people come up to me at shows and they say, hey, I started listening to the band because of the YouTube channel. I just go, man, like, it's kind of what other than the fact that it's a very selfish endeavor. I want to get better at video editing. I want to increase my capability for content creation, for, other avenues of just being a creative person.
Mhm.
But then it also gets more people to shows, and I get to meet more people that are cool. And it's like, it's all kind of a win-win.
Yeah. You're still editing your videos?
I am. Yeah. I read something about a year ago saying your editing style, and this is not directed at me, just directed at anybody. Your editing style is not as irreplaceable as you think it is. And
Yeah.
I think that that's probably true. And I should probably source out the editing because, man, I could make so much more content if I
Hmm.
did that. I just can't let go of the reins. And I
Yeah.
just haven't found anybody yet that would be the right fit. When I do, I will absolutely hand it over because I think that would be awesome. Um, because really the bottleneck is, you know, we'll film a video, and then I'll take and I don't want to get boring and a bummer about it, but I'll take the video, put it on my hard drive, make proxies, do technical kind of bullshit, whatever, color grade it, color correct it, adjust the sound, EQ the sound, use plugins, uh, align all the songs, align all the music, align all the guest audio, make sure everything's on the timeline, whatever. That takes 5 hours. I haven't
Right.
even done anything yet. And it's like, holy shit. Like, it took an hour and a half to film. It took an hour and a half to set up. It takes 5 hours just to get everything ready to start editing. I'm like, damn, dude, like,
Yeah.
this is fucking, what the hell am I doing? Because if I could just set up and film and then just approve a video when it's done, I'd be a lot happier.
Hmm.
But I do love the process of editing. I love the process of taking a thing, watching a clip and going, oh, I have a perfect joke for this, and I want to direct the audience's attention just in the perfect way. And again, like I'm talking like I'm a fucking film
Guru.
auteur or whatever. Yeah, it's like I'm not. I do whatever. I just like doing it. You know what it is? It's just I watched The Simpsons a lot when I was a kid.
Uh,
I love The Simpsons. Old Simpsons episodes are my shit, and I get to make them real life sometimes by taking the cadences and the references and some of the jokes and the style, and just every once in a while just pepper something in and be like, oh,
mhm.
that's totally like a Simpsons joke. Oh,
Yeah.
the directing of the audience's attention in that one moment reminds me of this one scene. Like, that's all I want to do. Just recreate the Simpsons.
Yeah. I do love your editing style. It's you, I love the comedy in it,
Yeah.
and you're not ever taking yourself too seriously, and it's great. That's
It's also cool to spend a lot of really awesome quality time with my wife and just like really sit there and just, joke around, fuck around or whatever, learn some really cool music, learn honestly, like doing those videos has helped my memorization a lot.
yeah.
It's opened me up to new bands, new music, riffs that I would never play. The whole thing started out very selfishly, and let's be honest, it's continued in a very selfish way. I wanted to start doing YouTube videos where I learned stuff on camera because I thought, that'd be kind of cool. So I'll sit down unedited for an hour, try to learn the most difficult shit I could possibly learn. And some people kind of liked it. I said, oh, that's kind of sweet. So I started doing more and more and more. I think I did 40 or 50 episodes of that. And then my wife at one point was like, why don't we learn stuff together? And I said, that is a bad fucking idea. It's going to sound terrible. Nobody's going to want to watch that.
How
And
wrong you were.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so she's like, listen, we'll film it. I'll edit it. I'm like, okay, cool. Fine, whatever. And she edited the first episode. And I said, well, yeah, yeah. Well, okay. Okay. Yes, I kind of get this. And she really just had to do it so that she could show me what it was like. And then from there, I just kind of like, okay, yeah, no, I will be editing them from now on, please, thank you. And but yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. It's cool. Like when the band isn't super busy, then I'll do that. When the band is super busy, then I'll kind of disregard my YouTube channel a little bit. But when we have downtime, I'm all YouTube.
Right. Yeah, that's how it's been a couple of years since we talked last, and
Yeah.
I hadn't only heard two songs from your band at the point when we talked.
Oh
We
yeah.
just started doing like reactions and stuff like that. And it was actually your four levels of death metal that me and my buddy Paul got interested in watching that stuff. We just had to talk
Yeah.
to you guys. So that's kind of what rolled
Oh
with
yeah.
that. Now
Oh,
I'm a
that's
couple
awesome.
years in and full on fledged, fan of your band.
Sick.
I'm really hoping to catch a show on this tour.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you at again?
I'm in Ohio. I'll be in Ohio. So I think the closest you guys are coming is probably Columbus or Detroit. I don't
Detroit.
remember. I
Yeah.
don't remember the dates exactly,
June
but
7th in Detroit at the Majestic Theater.
ooh, okay.
I have that all
Yeah,
memorized. Ask me any date. Ask me anything. I'm not
really.
just staring at a screen of all the dates. I'm not just
Oh.
staring at a screen. I
I'll make
there's a
sure to
screen
put
right
that
there.
shit up there. I was like, "Are you got to be fucking kidding me?"
No, I don't even I can't even remember how to get to the grocery store, dude. I don't know shit.
It was funny. I thought it was going to be one of those situations with like Adam and Richmond from the Man versus Food. He can still to this day just read off the top of his head all the intros to the Man versus Food episodes.
Some people just have a wild brain for that kind of shit, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Like my wife and I have learned so many riffs doing videos. I have learned so much stuff doing my own videos on my own. I couldn't play a single one for you 10 minutes after we finish filming. It just melts from my
Yeah,
fucking brain. It's gone, dude.
yeah.
So
That's how I am with any cover song. It's like as soon as
yeah,
I've got it done, I put a video together or something like that. It's like I couldn't tell you how it's played. I couldn't. I mean, I've got a general
yeah,
idea because I do have some muscle memory left, but it'll
sure.
take a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah. So your wife's got a new band, and I'm going to be reacting
Yes.
to it very soon.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Is there any? I know you guys are playing. You played with Shody with her band already, though, right?
We have not. So
Not
her
okay.
band is yeah, her band is Misyrion. My band Archspire is playing in Vancouver on June 30th at the Vogue Theater, and her band Misyrion is opening the show.
That's what it was. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, got the wires crossed upstairs there.
No, that's don't worry about it. No, we're both very, very excited. It's kind of like an apology because I'm going to be away for our 10-year anniversary. So I'm like, okay, I can't be a total dick and be like,
Yeah.
we're playing Vancouver. Like, I gotta try to get you to open the show. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I just want
you
to put
know,
a little pause there. That's the kind of shit it takes to make it in this business. You're gonna end up losing out on those kind of dates. It's just something you got to know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
man,
pretty much,
you
yeah,
lucked out though. I mean, you guys seem like you're very, you have the same kind of ideas and such that she understands that stuff. I'm assuming so.
yeah. She's got a lot more ideas about uh well, I guess I can't really say that on YouTube. She's got a crazed mind and she'd be locked up for a long time. Is basically what I'm trying to say. No, she's her and I. Uh, she was a fan of the band. In 2013 when we first met, she came to a show, and I met her there, and I was like, "Who is this chick? Like,
Yeah,
women go to technical death metal shows? I've never seen one. So the first one that I've ever seen, I'm like, ooh, we should start dating. No, I mean, that really was like, she came up to me and I was like, okay, cool. And then she just so happened to move to Vancouver to go to music school.
yeah,
AKA she was stalking in Vancouver. So she moved there. But yeah, I mean, we have very similar interests, and complement each other pretty well. She's a goofy guy.
yeah. My favorite part about that story, and we talked about that the last time we interviewed you, I think, was her
Yeah.
leaving in a BMW blasting death metal.
Cattle decapitation. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. I was
so
like
funny.
watching your driveway. I'm like, what the fuck? Just weird, dude. Never seen that combination of things before.
Right. It's a
Yeah,
great white buffalo.
yeah, pretty much until you just like sit in a room with her and when she has really bad gas, and you're like, okay, no, I get it. There's downsides. There are downsides. I was too hasty.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are going back into the studio sometime this year, I'm assuming.
We have no announced plans to go back to the studio. At some point, we will be going back in the studio, but we have nothing planned as of yet.
Okay, so you just know the
Yeah,
amount of time you'd be spending next time. Gotcha.
we do. Yeah, yeah. We've been talking to David, but we don't have anything planned. We do have a bunch of music written though.
That's awesome.
So
I'm very excited
yeah,
about that. Uh,
me
I
too.
just before we end this, we'll let you go pretty soon. We've hit that hour mark, and you guys are all you're firing on all cylinders, basically. I'm sure you get showered with compliments on this stuff all the time, but like,
No, no, go on, go on.
I'm seriously, I'm proud of you for all the stuff that you've done, and you've had me as a fan for the past couple of years, and I just want to say kudos, man. You're doing a great job, and keep it up.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's. I don't really have an option. That's. I'm not joking. There's no
Yeah,
option.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just. Yeah, that's. It's
It's
just
good though.
what's what we're doing.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
been
happy about
decided.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
that's
I
great.
will scroll the dates for the Everything Is Fuck tour. If you guys get a chance to go see Archspire, Carcosa, Aborted, and Alluvial,
Yeah.
definitely take it up. Get them tickets now while you still can.
Yeah,
And
there's some new stuff that we're doing on this tour as well. We're playing a bunch of new music that we've never played before, and we're also we have some stage production stuff that we've never done that we're building. Big custom uh, built piece that we're a little bit nervous of. I don't know how it's going to work, but I think it might be pretty sweet. So
awesome.
yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, it's great.
All right, man. Well, Dean, thank you so much for joining me for this. I appreciate you, and definitely looking forward to what you guys do.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.